Hi students, today I'm going to start with your chapter number 6, right? That is your chapter 6 in your science, that is life processes, right? Here we are going to talk about the different life processes. What do you mean by life, right? When we start with the chapter, the first thing that is very essential, that means you should need to understand what does the title of that particular chapter does says, right? Here you have first thing, that is life, and another is called as the life processes. For that you should know what do you mean by life, or what do you call something as living, right? How can you say that someone or something is alive, right? So the first we have some basic, that first the basic thing that we have, that is the smallest living entity, it is the cell, or we called as cell is the unit of life, right? We call the cell as the unit of life, right? We call the cell as the unit of life, or the smallest unit of life, because cell is the smallest living entity which is capable of performing different life processes, right? She is able to perform the different life processes. But the main question which arises here is, what are the criteria, right? Here we have, that is the criteria to decide, right? Here we are having the criteria to decide whether, right? Criteria to decide whether something is alive or whether something is dead, or it is died, it is not alive at all, right? So the most important criteria to decide whether something is living is movement, right? So when we talk about the criteria to decide whether someone is living, is non-living, the first thing which comes in our head is movement, right? That if a person, or if a living organism is capable of moving from one place to another, right? If they are capable of moving from one place, right? You have one place, right? From that place she or he is capable to move to the place which is other, right? To other place, it is what we call as movement. And this movement can be for the search of food, right? It can be for the search of food, right? This movement can be for the search of food, search of shelter, right? Search for shelter, right? And it can be also for the process of protection, right? To keep themselves safe. So a person can show various kind of movement, which will be explained in the next chapter, that is chapter 7, controls and coordination, right? So this movement is not only limited from one person moving from one place to another, but also it is the molecular movement, right? It is also including the molecular movement inside a person, right? It is not only including the movement of one person from one place to another in the search of food or shelter, or in the expectation to get themselves safe and protected. It is also the movement of molecules, right? Movement of molecules, like for example carbohydrates, right? You have carbohydrates, you have proteins, right? We have, that is we call them as lipids, right? So these are, so etc. Many of these movements, these molecules, they are capable of moving from the cells to that of the tissue, and this sort of movement is seen in the living organism, which is not seen in that of your non-living organism, right? Non-living organism. Another question when it comes, right? What are the other criteria? So you have, that is respiration or nutrition. First thing you will say, that is respiration, right? Respiration means the person or organism, if they are alive, they are capable to breathe, right? They are capable to breathe, they are capable to exchange, capable to breathe. And apart from that, they are even the another respiration. The here it is not about, we are talking only about the breathing, that is the respiration, but here we are talking about the metabolism, right? The metabolism of food inside the body of a organism, right? And the next thing which you have, that is nutrition, right? Nutrition, that means if a person is living, he or she will take in the food, they will take in food through different methods. That means they will eat or consume the food, right? Then after the respiration, that is the metabolism of the food, they will go for the transportation, right? And after the transportation, they will also go for the excretion, right? They will also go for the excretion. And the most important one that you have, that is reproduction, right? Reproduction is a very important, what we call as criteria for a person to be living. Only living things can reproduce, right? Only living things can reproduce. And another you can consider, that is growth and development, right? Growth and development. So these are some various criteria which a person should fulfill if they are alive. First, they should show the movement from one place to another, right? And also the molecular movement, that are the molecules that you have, some that is carbohydrate, proteins, lipids, vitamins, minerals, from cell to different tissues, right? Then you have the respiration. In the respiration, first you have the breathing processes, that is the exchange of gases, and also the metabolism. Then you have the nutrition, that is the uptake of food by an organism, transportation of the digested food, excretion of the undigested food, reproduction, and the growth and the development. So if the person fulfills this criteria, he can be considered as living. So now the another question that comes is, what do you mean by life processes? Right? What do you mean by life processes, right? Life processes are the basic processes in a living organism, right? They are the basic processes. They are the basic processes. They are the basic processes in a living organism. They are the basic processes in a living organisms, which are, right, which are important for maintaining the life, right? The processes which are important to maintain the life. And so we have so many of these processes. The first and the foremost and the most important, that is the nutrition, that is the uptake of nutrition. Second, we will go for the respiration, or what we call as the metabolism, right? That is the metabolism, right? And then you have, that is what we call as transportation, right? Transportation. Fourth, we have, that is excretion, right? And these are some important life processes which are important to sustain a life of a living organism. So these are the 4 things which are to be explained in this chapter, right? That is the nutrition in human beings, respiration and the respiratory system. Transportation system mein we are gonna study, that is the circulatory system, along with that of the excretion. And apart from that also we will study the nutrition part in the plants also, that is the photosynthesis and the mode of nutrition. We will even see the exchange of gases in the plants. We will see the transportation, that is transport of water and minerals in the plants. And also the excretion, or what we call as the removal of some waste which can be occurring in the plants. So this is an overall review of the chapter and whatever the topics which we are going to study throughout this chapter. Okay, so we will start with the nutrition in the living organism from the next lecture. So if you have any doubt until here in this processes, please do let me know, because it also includes so many topics which you have already studied. Just you have any doubt, let me know. Thank you.